Hello and welcome to a video of LoadEmUp by appscript.com. Now LoadEmUp was designed as a freight broking solution, but it is a versatile app that can be modified to suit the needs of different businesses. Now in this video, I'm going to show you the concept of the agent of a shipping company negotiating with a carrier. Now the agent, or in this case the shipper, logs in through the agent portal on the left hand side. Now, we understand that in this industry, a lot of the work is still done on desktops or laptops. Hence, we have made an agent web application in addition to the mobile application. Now, in a later video, I will show you the agent mobile application. And in this video, I'm just going to show you the web application. So I will first enter my credentials to log in to my shipper app. These credentials can be created from the super admin panel. I'm now logged into the agent profile. So as you can see, I can see my current location on the map. And I have three tabs, the first of which is offers, the second is my jobs, and the third is past jobs. Now offers are the new offers that this particular shipper has created and that have not been accepted by a driver yet. And my jobs are the offers or that this particular shipper has created and that have been assigned to drivers. And past includes cancelled or expired bookings along with completed bookings. I'm now going to log into my carrier app, which is on the right hand side of the screen. Now we use a mobile number verification code to log into the carrier app, and this is done because it is much more difficult to fudge mobile numbers than it is to fudge email addresses, and it hence makes the app more secure. Once you enter your mobile number, a verification code is sent via text message to that mobile number, and you can then log in to your app. And on the next page, you have to choose your vehicle. In this case, my vehicle is a truck. I select it and say confirm. So I'm now logged into my carrier app as well, and I will briefly go through the pages on the carrier app. So on the first page, we have something called the load board. Now the load board is where all loads posted by shippers will be displayed. Now every carrier who has the potential to accept these loads can view these loads on his load board, and as you can see, all these loads have been created for this particular carrier's vehicle type. Which takes me to the next page, which is the profile page. Now this is the main page in the profile pages, and when I click on view profile, it takes me to this driver's profile page, and I can see the first name, last name, phone number, email addresses, and my address along with social security numbers and a license number. Now all of these fields can be renamed as to what you need. We understand that every region has a different set of legal compliance requirements. At the very bottom, I can see that this vehicle type is a truck, which is manufactured by Honda, and the color is white. So we do try to show as much information as possible. Now we also have support text, which can be set from the admin panel, and all of these are highly configurable, and you can make the support text include whatever you feel is right for your business. Now our third field is the wallet. So the wallet basically indicates the amount of cash that the carrier has with him at any given point of time. Now, every time the carrier accepts a booking, which is paid for by card, he has to pay a commission to the app. Now, that commission can vary from 10% to whatever value that you set, and this can be configured from the admin panel. So whenever the carrier has to pay a commission, the commission can be deducted from the wallet of the carrier. So this just makes it a little bit easier for the carrier by reducing the amount of cash transactions that need to take place. So in order to recharge my wallet, I have to add a card. And in this case, the card is already added. And since we integrate Stripe into our app, I'm using the Stripe test card during my testing. And it ends with a 4242. My current wallet balance is 3,250 rupees. And this is what I can use to pay for as commission to the app. Now, I will recharge my wallet for another 2,000 rupees. There we go, my wallet balance is now 5,250. And I can see the balance on the profile page as well, on the same tab. And I have an option to log out of the app. Now the next page I will go through is the history page. And since there are no bookings done, the stats over here show that it is 0 and the earnings for this week is 0. Now after I complete a couple of bookings, I will show you how the stats increase proportionately. After a shipper has posted an offer and it has been accepted by a carrier, it will move to the My Jobs page. And I will come back to this as we move on with the demo. And the offers page has a tab for new offers and past offers, which in effect shows you the inbox and the offers that were sent by this particular carrier. Coming back to the load board, I am now going to move on to the shipper's desktop application. Now the shipper has a wallet too, and that is the balance that has been shown here. The balance in the shipper's wallet is 4,000 rupees. And that wallet can be recharged by clicking on the wallet icon. And we have already added a card, and it is the same Stripe test card that we use in the carrier app. I can now enter an amount that I want to recharge my wallet with and pay. There we go. I've now recharged my shipper wallet for a further 3,000 rupees and the balance now shows 7,000. On the right hand side, I get all the transaction details in this particular shipper's wallet, and I can see that there has been a wallet recharge of 3,000 rupees. Now I can also see the profile pages of the shipper, which shows me the name, the phone number, the email address, and a profile picture which I can change. Now going back, this is the home screen of the shipper's web application. I will now create a new load by clicking on the New Load button on the top left hand side of the screen. The first thing I do is enter my pickup address. And my drop address. My vehicle type is a truck, as we've seen earlier on in the video. I enter the details of the sender and the receiver. Now I enter the goods type. Now only the goods type that can be taken in this particular vehicle type will be displayed here. And if I click on the checkbox, my receiver details will be autofilled in the same manner as the sender details. So it essentially says that the sender is the receiver of the goods. Now my load type can be LTL or FTL. Now if a load is LTL, which means less than truckload, it means that this particular carrier can in effect take in more goods to fill his capacity. Whereas if it is an FTL load, which means full truckload, the carrier cannot take up extra load to fill his capacity. Now, we make sure that there's a check on the maximum load that can be taken by a carrier, and this is done with the weight and dimensions. Now, as you see, I'm entering my weight as 4 tons, and later on I enter my dimensions as well. Now the logic we are implementing is that the carrier will be able to take up LTL or less than truckload loads until he reaches his maximum level of weight or dimensions. So in effect, there's going to be a check on the weight and dimensions, and whatever upper limit is hit first will prevent him from taking up more LTL loads. And if the weight upper limit is hit first, then that'll stop him from taking up more loads, and the same goes with dimensions. Now, this is really important in case the goods is really heavy but does not occupy a lot of space. Now, if you take, for example, iron rods, the space occupied by that particular good will not be all that much, even though it weighs a lot. So, even if the dimensions are relatively small, the weight might just be the maximum capacity of the vehicle. In that case, that carrier will not be able to take up more loads. Now I enter a quantity of 5, and I see an estimated value in the shipping price field, and it is the same estimated value displayed over here. Now this is calculated based on the pickup and drop addresses and the vehicle type. Now each vehicle type has a particular fee set for distance, time, and everything, and all of this can be set from the super admin panel. So depending on what fee you set for a vehicle type and the super admin, the approximate fee will be displayed here and here. So this just gives the agent an idea of what to expect, or rather to what to offer a driver for this route, and we think it's quite an important feature. So as the shipper, I see that the approximate price for this route is 312 rupees. So taking that into account, I am going to offer 280 rupees for a load on this route. And on the next field, I can either enable or disable bookings. Now, if the shipper does not want a carrier to bid for the item, or in other words, if he does not want to negotiate, he can just disable bidding. And the carrier will get just an accept button with no counter button. So it allows the shipper to sort of prevent counter bids on his particular load. Now I set my pickup date and my drop date. It can be paid for by the sender or the receiver. Now, in case the receiver is paying, it is always in cash, whereas if the sender is paying, it can be a cash card or wallet. Now, let's say I choose to pay with my wallet. I get a pop-up message. I can pay with both the wallet and either one of the two, either cash or card. Now, if I choose to pay with my wallet and with cash, and the amount will be deducted by the wallet, and if there is any balance, that will have to be paid by cash. And the same goes with card. If there is any leftover amount after the wallet pays for the trip, that amount will be billed on the card. Now, in this case, I don't expect that to happen because the approximate fare is 300 rupees, whereas my wallet balance is 700 rupees. So I will just have a wallet balance of 600 and around 6,670 rupees after the trip. So I'm going to enable bidding in this particular case so that I can show you how the offer flow and the counter offer works. And I add this particular load. Now, as soon as I've added it, I get a notification on my carrier app saying that a new load has been posted in your area on LoadEmUp. Please go to the load board to view the details. Now, this notification will come whether you are in the background or the foreground. And I can see that the load board has refreshed, and at the very top I can see the booking that I have just made for a load ID 973. Now if I go to the offers tab on my shipper portal, at the very top I see that it is the same load ID. And at the bottom of the page, I have a bidding expiry time and a booking expiry time. So the bidding expiry time is that time after which no new bids can be placed on this load. And the load expiry time is that time after which this load expires and moves to the past column. And it will get an expired tab on the past column as well, just like all of these. So again, all of this can be configured from the admin, and it gives you a lot of flexibility with regard to the operation of the app. Now coming to the shipper app, at the home screen, or rather the load board, I can see the details like the load ID, and I can see my pickup and drop address, and I can see that the weight of the load is 4 tons, and it is an LTL or less than truckload load, and the distance is 8.73 kilometers. So, and I also see that I will receive 280 rupees, and it is paid for by the shipper. So the carrier essentially gets a bird's eye view of the load by just looking at the various items on the load board, and it's quite important and saves him time because he can weed out what he wants and what he doesn't want. Now on the load board we also have filters, which in effect allow you to filter out loads that you need or that you might not need. So we have a number of filters, and the first one is your pickup location. So you can enter a location and say that you want to be picked up a certain or rather you would like loads which are a certain radius close to that, and then you can select your pickup date. You can choose your load type as being an LTL load or an FTL load, and you can choose a range of weight, and this weight can be either in tons, kgs, or pounds. Now, as you noticed, at the time the shipper actually makes a new load, the weight can be in either tons or kgs or pounds. Now, what we have done is we have done some clever calculations which sort of convert the values of tons to pounds and to kgs and so on. And you can choose for a range of load in with whatever dimensions you want, or with whatever unit you want in the carrier app. So this sort of gives you the flexibility to choose a particular unit which you are comfortable with. Now the payment type can be shipper, receiver, and invoice, and you can also sort it based on latest, nearest, and price. Now I will show you the operation of the filters in another video, as that might take a little time for me to show you all the different test cases, because you can have a number of different test cases with permutations and combinations of different filters. There we go. So I'm now going to select the first load. Now it takes the carrier to the load details page. Now on this page, the first thing I see is the map, which shows my current location on the blue dot, and it shows the pickup location of the load and the drop location of the load. And it also gives me the exact addresses along with distance and ETA. Load type, goods type are displayed along with length, width, height, and weight of the load. So I will choose to counter this load. As the carrier sees the price is 280, he might just counter it and say that he wants 340 rupees for the same load. And on the shipper web portal, I get a notification saying that this load ID has received a counter from John Doe. Now, as you see, the flash indicates that it is this load that has received the counter. And this is important because in any normal scenario with this app, you're going to have multiple loads and many drivers countering at the same time. So we sort of give you a bird's eye view and we show you that there is one offer on this load and the best price is 340. Now, from the shipper's point of view, the best price is the lowest price. So if there are multiple drivers bidding for this particular load, the lowest price will be shown here and it will show you the number of offers that are there. And coming to the carrier app, I realized that I have been taken to the send offers page automatically as soon as I have made a bid, and it shows me that my latest bid was 340 rupees. Now, when I click on this load, I get the details of my driver, I get the vehicle type, and I can also see a sort of negotiation history, which is not visible right now because there has been only one offer on it. I can see that the driver has been rated 5 stars on average. Now I'm going to counter this offer with 300. Now as soon as I've done that, the carrier gets a notification saying that a counter has been received, and it automatically takes me to the inbox page where I will again counter this for 320. Now coming back to the shipper web portal, when I click on this, I can see the history of negotiations. I can see that the shippers first offered 340 rupees, after which the carrier said that he wants it for 300 and so on. You can sort of see the history, and I will now accept this load at 320. Now the load has been accepted, the carrier gets a push notification, and the carrier is taken to the inbox page. Now on the inbox page, the carrier only has the accept button. Now as you might have noticed, both the shipper and the carrier have to actually click on accept on the load, and even though the carrier had initially offered the price of 320, he still has to accept it after the shipper has accepted it. Now you might think that this is an additional step, but we have done this for contracting purposes. Now this is called a dual handshake. So it's quite important in contracting and legal terms that both parties sort of click on or select accept before a contract is finalized, which is why we have done the dual handshake. Now I get a pop-up and say yes. So I've now accepted the load and the shipper gets a notification. And as for the carrier is automatically taken to the load detail my jobs page on the middle, as you see. And this job has essentially been assigned to this carrier, hence it is in his jobs. And as for the shipper portal, the same load will be in under my jobs as well, which is the middle tab. And the shipper can see the details of his load along with an activity timeline and documents. And in this case, I've not uploaded any documents, but I will upload the documents in a flow a little later on. So the carrier can also see that the time left for pickup is 40 hours and 2 minutes. Now, if a carrier has multiple loads, it's quite a useful piece of information for him to see the time left for pickup. The carrier can start the booking and the shipper gets an update on his timeline saying that the load has been accepted. Now the carrier is now in his booking flow, so he has to swipe right when he arrives at the pickup location. But before that, a couple of quick features here. If the carrier clicks on the load details page right here, it shows him the details of the load along with the phone number of the sender, the receiver, and the shipper. So in case the carrier is not able to find the sender or the receiver, All he has to do is tap on the phone number and he can sort of call either one of them. Now coming back to the booking flow. So initially, until the carrier arrives at the pickup location, it is calculated as his deadhead. Now, deadhead is the distance between the carrier's current location and the pickup location of the goods. It's quite important in this industry to minimize deadhead as much as possible, as it is a major cost-saving mechanism. So, which is why we also calculate deadhead here. And this is updated as the carrier moves. Now, in my case, I have my device with me and I'm sitting down at a particular location, so that is why I don't see an update in the distance. So as the app's goal is to minimize the deadhead travel by drivers, the data gives the app a good insight on how to actually minimize this. Once the carrier arrives at pickup, he swipes right. Now at the pickup location, the carrier can upload documents. So the document upload is done by clicking on the upload button and I select camera. So this is another really cool feature that we have integrated. It is an automated document scanner. So what it does is it automatically detects the edges of your document and scans the document. So it's a really important feature to avoid forgery of documents, as in this industry it's quite important to have the right set of documents. You can also enter notes. Documents are being uploaded onto the server. Now I've uploaded a couple of more documents and now that is complete. So I go back and this is the page where I can choose Google Maps or Waze for navigation. And if I click on the call icon or on the top right hand side, I can call my shipper. And I'm ready to start the trip. I will swipe right. So the shipper gets a notification saying that the trip is now started and the timeline has been updated as well. And this will work in real time, wherein the path along the map will be traced. Now, once the carrier arrives at the drop location, he swipes right again. And we are now in unloading time. And once the unload is complete, the carrier swipes right again. So the carrier is now taken to his invoice page while the shipper gets a notification. So all the points will be marked on the map and color coded as well. It makes it a lot easier for you to trace the path. And on the invoice page, the carrier can enter the receiver's signature and there are documents that can be uploaded at drop as well. In the same manner, the document scanner detects edges and scans the document to avoid fraud. And you can enter notes at drop. Once you are done, click submit. You now get the option to rate your shipper. It is by default 5 stars and I've left it at that. Now, after the invoice has been submitted and the rating has been done for the shipper, the the shipper gets an option to rate the carrier. Over here, the shipper can say that it is 5 stars, and he gets to choose from a range of preset options that can be configured on the admin panel again. And now, after the shipper has submitted his rating, the booking is now complete. And as you can see, the load has moved to past loads. So that completes the first flow of LoadEmUp. I will now show you a different flow where we don't enable bidding. In this case, I'm going to upload an image. So this is the shipper uploading an image. I will say that the requested shipping price is 4,000, and I'm going to disable bidding. And in the second case, I am saying that the receiver will pay for it in cash because I don't want to upset my wallet balance, because that is something that I want to show you after the amount has been deducted after my previous booking. So in my second case, I'm going to do it as a paid by receiver load, and which will obviously be in cash. So I add the load. As you can see, the notification has come, and the first load on my load board is the new load that I've added. So coming back to the wallet on the shipper portal, as you can see, the new wallet amount is 6,680 rupees. Now this figure has been got by subtracting 320 from the initial amount of 7,000. And if I had to check my driver wallet, that remains the same because that is the amount of cash collected and that has not changed. But that will change after my second booking. So the shipper goes back to the load board page, and the first load is the latest one that I've posted. So as I select it, the only option available to me is an accept button. So, and this is because I've disabled bidding at the time of booking the load from the shipper shipper desktop portal. So I accept my load. The shipper gets a notification saying that load has been accepted, and I go on. Congrats, your load is now accepted. I can now start the trip. When I arrive at pickup, I will upload a document once again. The submission takes a little bit of time because the network is a little bad in my current location. So I also get a notification saying that John Doe has updated pickup documents for this load ID. Now, if you look at all the documents that you store, there's a document or an image of the goods that has been uploaded by the shipper at the time of making a booking. Then there is a document at the pickup, which is uploaded by the carrier. And then there's the document at the drop-off, which is again uploaded by the carrier. So we have 3 different documents of the goods, which will be of a great help in the case of any dispute on the quality of goods. So when I reach the dock location, I swipe right. And when I'm finished unloading, I swipe right. So I'm back on the invoice page, and I can see that my pickup document has been uploaded. I will now upload a document at drop. So I now have documents at pickup and documents at drop. And I have to enter the receiver's signature. And I have to enter notes. And when I submit, I now have to rate my shipper once again. And I get a notification saying that the load is now complete. And the shipper gets to rate the carrier as well, just as before. And that completes the second flow of LoadEmUp. So I'm now going to log out of my application. And I log out of the shipper web portal as well. Thank you. We will be uploading more videos on this, particularly about the filters and other specific regions of the application that might be of use to you. And along with the shipper web application, there is also a shipper mobile application, and I will upload a video of that as well for you to get a better idea of the whole package. Thank you.